Have you ever caught yourself wondering, why does my body feel so different now than it did a few years ago? Maybe you've noticed it's harder to bounce back from a long walk, or maybe your stomach isn't quite as friendly with certain foods anymore. It's completely normal to feel that way. The truth is, after 65, our bodies start changing in ways we didn't quite expect. But here's the good news. You have more control than you think. And it starts with something simple. What's on your plate? Now, I'm not talking about going on some complicated diet or cutting out everything you enjoy. No one's asking you to live on kale and lemon water. What we are going to talk about is how a few smart choices, just 5 foods really, can add more healthy years to your life, help you stay active longer, and even sharpen your mind. And just as important, we'll talk about a few foods you might want to ease off after 65, not because they're bad, but because your body may not handle them like it used to. So, if you've been looking for an easy way to feel better, move easier, and maybe even sleep a little deeper, grab a comfy seat and maybe a cup of tea, because this is for you. Let's start with one of the most powerful, age-defying foods out there: berries. Yes, those little guys. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, they're not just tasty, they're full of antioxidants which help protect your cells from damage over time. Think of them like tiny bodyguards for your brain and heart. And if you're someone who's worried about memory or staying mentally sharp, berries have actually been shown to slow down age-related cognitive decline. In fact, studies have found that seniors who regularly eat berries tend to do better on memory tests. You don't need a whole bowl either. Even a handful of blueberries added to your breakfast can make a difference. The best part? You can enjoy them fresh, frozen, or even tossed into some plain yogurt. You don't need to be a gourmet chef. Just sprinkle them on your oatmeal or blend them into a smoothie. They're gentle on the stomach, easy to chew, and give your body a gentle nudge in the right direction without a lot of fuss. Now, speaking of breakfast, let's talk about something that might surprise you: oats. Not the sugary packets with cartoon characters on them, but good old-fashioned rolled oats. Oats are one of the best sources of soluble fiber, which helps lower cholesterol and keeps your blood sugar steady. That's important because after 65, your risk for heart issues goes up, and so does your body's sensitivity to sugar. A warm bowl of oatmeal in the morning not only fills you up, but it gives your heart a little hug too. But here's something people often miss. Oats also support gut health. And you've probably noticed that as we age, digestion gets a little trickier. Foods that once felt fine now cause bloating or discomfort. Fiber helps keep everything moving gently and naturally, and when your gut's happy, the rest of you feels better too. If you want to keep it simple, just cook oats with a bit of water or milk. Toss in those berries we just talked about and maybe a sprinkle of cinnamon. You'll feel full, satisfied, and energized for hours. All right, so we've covered a couple of foods that are easy to add and do a lot of heavy lifting for your health. But let's not stop there. There's one more food I want to mention today that truly deserves a spot on your plate if you're serious about aging well, and that's leafy greens. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, whatever variety you like, they're packed with vitamins that support your bones, eyes, and brain. Here's something a lot of people don't realize. Once you hit your 60s and beyond, your ability to absorb certain nutrients starts to drop. One of them is vitamin K, which plays a big role in keeping your bones strong. Leafy greens are one of the best sources of it, and they're also rich in folate, which can help improve mood and memory, especially important if you've been feeling a little more forgetful lately. Now, I know some people don't love the taste of greens. Maybe they remind you of overcooked spinach from your childhood, but hear me out. You don't have to eat a giant salad every day. You can sauté some spinach with garlic and olive oil, mix a bit of kale into a soup or stew, or even blend a handful of greens into a smoothie with fruit and not even taste them. Little by little, it adds up. And here's a bonus tip. When you pair greens with a bit of healthy fat like olive oil or avocado, your body absorbs even more of the nutrients. So you're not just eating well, you're getting more out of what you eat. Now that we've talked about some of the best foods to add, it's also worth thinking about a few that might be doing you more harm than good. After 65, your body doesn't handle certain things as efficiently. Foods that were no problem in your 40s or 50s might now cause inflammation, upset your stomach, or mess with your blood sugar. But don't worry, we're not about to tell you to throw away everything you enjoy. It's just about being mindful and making smarter swaps. So let's keep going and look at how just a couple of small changes can make a big difference. One step at a time, right? We've already talked about the importance of berries and leafy greens, and how these tiny yet powerful foods can support your body from the inside out. But let's keep going, because the next food on this list might be sitting in your kitchen right now, and it's one of the easiest to add to your daily routine. Beans. Yep, humble, simple, budget-friendly beans. Black beans, kidney beans, lentils, chickpeas, whatever kind you like. These little guys are full of fiber and protein, which are both incredibly important as we age. And here's the thing. After 65, many people eat less protein than they should. Maybe your appetite isn't what it used to be, or cooking big meals just feels like too much effort. But without enough protein, your muscles shrink faster, your energy dips lower, and your body just can't repair itself like it used to. That's where beans come in. They give you a plant-based protein that's gentle on the stomach and easy to digest. Plus, they're packed with fiber to keep your digestive system moving smoothly. You don't need to go wild, just start small. Add a handful of chickpeas to a salad, mix lentils into soup, or make a simple bean chili. Not only will you be fueling your body, but you'll also be helping to stabilize your blood sugar, lower cholesterol, and support your heart. That's a lot of health in one little scoop. Now, speaking of protein, let's talk about something most people over 65 don't get nearly enough of, but it's a total game changer when you do. Fatty fish. Think salmon, sardines, or mackerel. These are rich in something called omega-3 fatty acids, which are like magic for your brain, your heart, and even your joints. You know those days when your knees feel stiff, or your memory's just a little foggy? Omega-3s help reduce inflammation in the body, and they've been linked to better brain function and a lower risk of heart disease. As we get older, our bodies naturally have more inflammation, which is part of why we feel aches and pains more easily. Eating fatty fish a couple of times a week is like oiling the hinges. It helps things move more smoothly and keeps your brain sharper, longer. If you're not a fan of fish, don't worry. You can still get omega-3s from flax seeds, chia seeds, or even a high-quality fish oil supplement. But fresh fish really does offer a powerful natural dose that's hard to beat. Bake a small piece of salmon with some lemon and herbs, pair it with a side of greens, and you've got a meal that tastes great and supports your body in all the right ways. All right, now before we move on to the final food that helps support a longer, stronger life, we need to pause and talk about something just as important. What not to eat. Because even with the best intentions, the wrong foods can undo a lot of the progress you're making. Let's start with a common one. Processed meats. Think deli slices, bacon, sausages, those quick salty options we often reach for when we don't feel like cooking. They may taste familiar and comforting, but here's the problem. They're usually packed with sodium, preservatives, and unhealthy fats. And after 65, your body becomes more sensitive to all of that. Too much sodium can drive up your blood pressure, increase your risk of stroke, and strain your heart. The preservatives used in processed meats have also been linked to higher cancer risk, especially colorectal cancer. Now, this doesn't mean you can never have a slice of bacon again, but it does mean you want to make it an occasional treat, not a regular habit. Try swapping in grilled chicken, tuna, or even a plant-based option like tofu or tempeh when you can. Your heart and kidneys will thank you. And here's another one that tends to sneak into the pantry. Refined carbohydrates, white bread, white rice, sugary cereals, pastries. These may give you a quick burst of energy, but it's short-lived. And what follows is often a crash, mentally and physically. As we age, our bodies process sugar differently. Eating too many refined carbs spikes your blood sugar, then drops it, leading to fatigue, brain fog, and even increased risk for type 2 diabetes. And let's be honest, none of us want to be managing more medications than we have to. Instead, look for whole grains like oatmeal, quinoa, or whole wheat bread. These take longer to digest, which helps keep your blood sugar steady and gives you lasting energy throughout the day. Plus, they're a great source of fiber, which keeps your digestion humming and helps with weight control too. Now, I know food can be a source of comfort, And I also know that old habits die hard, especially when we've been eating a certain way for decades. But here's the good news. You don't have to overhaul your whole diet overnight. You just have to start. One change at a time, one swap, one meal. And before you know it, those small changes start to build on each other. Think about it like this. Your body is a garden. After 65, it still grows and thrives, but it needs a little more care, a little more intention. You water it with the right foods, protect it from the harsh stuff, and give it what it needs to stay vibrant. Beans, berries, greens, fish. These are your tools. And with each choice, you're saying yes to more energy, more clarity, and more years spent doing what you love with the people you love. You've come this far with strength and wisdom, and your food can now work with you to carry that strength into the next chapter. You deserve to feel your best every single day, no matter what the calendar says. Let's keep going. Now let's round out our top 5 longevity foods with one that often gets overlooked, but it's quietly powerful. Nuts and seeds. Almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds. These tiny foods pack a serious punch. They're rich in healthy fats, fiber, plant-based protein, and antioxidants. And here's what's really interesting. Studies have shown that people who regularly eat a small handful of nuts live longer on average. Not by a month or two, but by years. Why? It's all about what nuts do for your body. They help lower LDL cholesterol, the bad kind. They reduce inflammation, they support brain health, and they keep you full, which can help prevent overeating and weight gain. That's especially important after 65, when our metabolism slows down and maintaining a healthy weight becomes harder. And you don't need a lot, just a small handful a day. Add some almonds to your oatmeal, toss a few walnuts on a salad, or grab a handful of mixed nuts as a snack instead of chips or crackers. Just keep an eye on portion sizes. Nuts are calorie-dense, so a little goes a long way. All right, let's bring it all together. So far, we've talked about 5 foods that can truly support a longer, healthier life after 65. Berries, for brain. And heart health leafy greens, for vitamins, minerals, and bone strength beans. For fiber, protein, and steady energy fatty fish, for anti-inflammatory omega-3s, nuts and seeds, for healthy fats, brain support, and satiety. Each of these foods helps you build health, not just avoid disease. They give your body what it needs to repair, maintain, and thrive. But before we wrap up, there's one more food to be cautious with as you get older. Sugary drinks, soda, sweetened coffee drinks, store-bought fruit juices. These sneak in a lot more sugar than most people realize. And when you're over 65, sugar doesn't just add empty calories, it increases your risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even cognitive decline. Even drinks that seem healthy, like bottled smoothies or vitamin waters, can be loaded with added sugars. Your best bet: stick to water, herbal teas, or sparkling water with a slice of lemon. If you enjoy juice, dilute it with water and keep it to a small glass, and always check the label. You might be surprised at what's hiding in there. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? After 65, your body needs you to be just a little more thoughtful. But the good news is, small changes make a big difference. You don't need a complicated diet. You just need real, whole foods, most of which are simple, affordable, and already in your grocery store. And remember, it's not about restriction. It's about nourishment, about giving your body what it needs so you can keep doing the things you love. Whether you're walking the dog, gardening, laughing with grandkids, or just enjoying a quiet morning with a good book, your food choices today are shaping how you'll feel tomorrow. So take that first step. Swap one thing, add one thing, your future self will thank you. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tips on aging strong, staying healthy, and living your best life at every age. Drop a comment below and let us know. Which of these 5 foods do you already eat? Or which one are you going to start adding this week? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay strong, eat well, and take good care of yourself.